need to wake up. I need us to have this conversation now. The culture of trying to blame African leaders and absolving ourselves every time these kind of things happen is not feasible. It won't work. Our leaders are not at the receiving end of all these. When push comes to shove, they know where to access treatment. The politicians have enough resources to take care of themselves. But you and I will be affected. You and I, and those who can't afford treatment, will suffer the consequences of decisions like this. Beyond pushing the buck to the government, how are you holding the government's feet to fire and holding conversations and advocating that government makes decisions and government quickly reconvenes to have discussions as to how to fund and bridge the funding gaps? Enough of the blame games. If the politicians decide not to do anything, how people will suffer. And always pushing the buck to the next man because we feel we're not responsible, sooner or later it's going to affect us. And this is why it's not about the government alone now. It's not about the president, the governors. It's about us reminding them of their responsibilities. This is the time for us to also have conversations with donor agencies apart from the US government. This is an opportunity for us to speak to our religious leaders. We've been donating money to churches. We've been making Sunday donations and Sunday offerings. This is the time to ask our religious leaders, do we need to set up emergency response on HIV treatment? Do we need to begin to plan for the orphans and vulnerable children within our communities? What about the wealthy individuals like the Dangotes, the Otedolas, and others too numerous to mention? This is not the time to blame the government. This is a time for us to speak up. This is a time for us to begin to have dialogues. The 1.2 million whose faith is unknown cannot wait. The rest of Africa and the rest of the world will not wait. We don't need to get to the point where there's a big problem of managing AIDS before we begin to speak up. Enough of the blame game. This is a time for us to begin to ask government to do something. This is a time for us to begin to encourage ECOWAS, AU, the Sahel Alliance, and other organizations to reconvene, and let's have a plan, a direction as to what's next after PEPFAR and other donations withdrawal by Trump. We need to fix our healthcare. We need to adequately fund healthcare in our countries, and we need to begin to take healthcare investments seriously. This is an opportunity for Africa, Nigeria, and the rest of the world to think about strengthening healthcare institutions. It's not about blame games now. It's the easiest thing to do, and that does not provide solutions. It's a severe issue, and it's something we need to quickly look at. It's easy for Africa to turn towards China, but at what cost will these interventions come in? We need to sit down, plan, and design an HIV/AIDS program for Africa and Nigeria.